2, 3. Favorite flowers!
Welcome back to another episode of Faith of Our Flyers. Once again, I'm Peter Grodi, your friendly neighborhood seminarian. First up this week, I'd just like to invite you all to an event going on this weekend. The After 5 group is putting on a scavenger hunt at 6:30, so pretty much right after the 5 Mass. It's open for anyone from grades 8 to 12, so I certainly hope that we see a bunch of you out there. You can come alone and we'll put you on a team, or if you can, invite some friends. Make a team of your own and come to the scavenger hunt. Father Paul and I will be making the clues and picking the things that you're all going to search for. I got an example of one here, one of the clues. It may hold water, but don't you drink. It's usually found right next to a sink. We may need to think of some better clues. Okay, so it's a work in progress, but we'll be ready by Sunday night. So be sure to try to come to that. I'm sure it's going to be a good time, but don't take my word for it, just ask Davis.
It's going to be great!
Thank you, Davis, for your helpful and informative input. So as an introduction to this video, I have a story about my nephew Dominic, who you saw at the beginning of this video, shouting out Faith of Our Flyers. Yeah, I guess they watch the videos. Must be pretty bored. A few weeks ago, I was home for a day hanging out with Dominic in the backyard of my brother's house. We have a bunch of trees and bushes and things in the backyard. One of his favorite things to do is to play Pretend Knight, or more specifically, play Pretend Link for all you people who are aware of what Legend of Zelda is. It's a video game. He was playing Pretend Link that day with me, and trying to be a good uncle. I was going along with it. I grabbed a big stick that looked like a wizard staff, and I walked up to him and I said in this old guy voice that probably sounded a little bit more like a toothless person with a cold, "Ah, young Link, in order to get the Triforce, you must complete 3 quests that I will give you." And he was all like excited about it. He's got his stick and he's waving it around and saying like, "Oh, I will complete your quests and I will rescue the Triforce from Ganondorf and then I will fight him." I think I kind of made him sound like that dog from Up. I don't really know why I did that. So I say, "Well, the first quest you must complete is you must collect the Great Stone of Komora." Is the best I could do at the moment. I mean, come on, give me a break. So he branches his stick and he says, "I will complete your quest and get the Master Sword and fight Ganondorf." So he runs off, charges off. Ah! He basically just runs across the yard and starts circling a tree. It starts, hitting the tree and stuff, and he's mumbling to himself, all these things. But pretty soon, he just kind of stops. And he comes back over to me, where I'm sitting there, and I say, "Have you completed the quest?" And he says, "I can't get this stone. It's locked up in the Temple of Time." I wasn't willing to let him off that easy, so I say, "Well, unless you get this stone, you cannot complete the quest." He kind of whines back and forth, "Oh, I can't get the stone. It's locked up, and I'm not able to get in there until I get the Master Sword." "Sorry, unless you complete the first quest, you cannot get to the other quest." Once again, give me a break. I'm trying hard. He stands there kind of shuffling back and forth for a little bit on his feet, and then he does something that just cracked me up. He leans real close and he says, "The stone's just a leaf, right?" Real quietly, as if like who's gonna hear, and like it's almost like we were in a play or something, and he didn't want to let the audience know that he'd forgotten his line. Anyway, I just bust out laughing. I couldn't help it. He just, with the way that he leaned in, it's just a leaf, right? Anyway, I was thinking of that story on the way home the other day. It occurred to me that we sometimes treat the Mass a little bit like this. We say the lines and do the motions and attend, but when it really comes down to it, we kind of lean to each other and say, it's really just a leaf, right? It's not even close to being a leaf. It's not even in the same mode of existence. The point is that it's not a fake, it's not a show, and really affects you, how you treat it. We may do it consciously, or it might just be something that is really behind the way that we treat the Mass. Even me as a seminarian, it's not easy all the time to be fully attentive and to treat the Mass with reverence and to keep in mind how significant and important the Mass is. And one of the big reasons for this is that we don't always feel like we get anything out of the Mass. We sometimes feel like it's a fruitless endeavor. It's like we're just standing around like zombies sometimes. The thing is, with a little work, a little effort, maybe a lot of effort, we can get a lot more out of the Mass. We can engage more fully in the Mass, and we can experience in a way that actually makes us want to come back. So for this video, I've put together 5 simple ways, simple, he says, simple, surefire ways for you to more fully engage in the Mass and for you to get more out of the Mass. So here they are. Number 1, be realistic about your expectations. Don't expect to get out of it the wrong type of thing. False expectations sour the real benefits of a thing. You ever see a trailer for a movie and think, oh wow, this is going to be an amazing movie. You get hyped up about it. When you see it, you're like, nah, wasn't that good. Pirates of the Caribbean 2, and 3, 4, and 5. Chances are, if you hadn't seen the trailer and developed all those expectations, you probably would have actually enjoyed it a lot more. That's sort of the same thing that I'm talking about here. If the idea that you have for Mass is that it has to be entertaining, like a movie or a concert, then chances are you're going to be frustrated. But if you accept that what you're supposed to get out of the Mass is different, but far greater, such as the graces of strength and perseverance in difficult times, or simply that deep sense of peace, you'll find yourself much more satisfied with your experience.
Yeah, dude!
Second, you gotta give before you get. I hear people say sometimes, I never get anything out of the Mass, so what's the point in going? Okay, maybe they don't say it exactly like that. That's actually my normal voice. I get tired of people saying this, not because I don't understand what they're trying to say, but because they rarely try to do anything about it. If the point is that you're making that you don't find the Mass entertaining, see point 1, I can't really help you with that. But if what you mean is that you don't feel like you're getting fed, okay, we can work on this. One of the simple answers if you're not being fed spiritually at the Mass is that it may be that you're not making an effort to engage in it. Just like if you go to a party and you just kind of sit in the corner and drink punch the entire time and then say, well, the party was kind of boring, I didn't really get anything out of it. Anyone who saw you at the party is probably going to call you a bonehead. You bonehead. Do people even use that anymore? Oh well. So what does actually engaging in Mass look like? Well, give all of yourself. Your mind, your soul, your body. You can give your mind with patient attention to all the things that are going on. You can give your soul in prayerful reverence and engagement of the prayers that are being said by the priest. You can give your body and all the reverent gestures that are made throughout the Mass that help lead your mind into what is going on. Third, learn about the Mass. Words are about half of what is communicated at the Mass. The other half is symbols, which is a huge part of our faith. Chances are that you already know a few of these symbols and know what they mean. This is a table for eating. This is Mary. And this, I don't really know what that is. This means Jesus. But most likely, most of them float by you like a piece of malicious software on a website. Oh, cat videos. I love this. Come on! Not knowing about the symbols is like going to a play blindfolded and then saying that you didn't really enjoy the play or understand it. So just take a little time, try to learn some of those symbols. I'll put some links in the description of this video that you can click on to learn about that stuff, okay? Fourth, prepare a little. I'll tell you what. There's a big difference, at least in my own experience, between preparing and not preparing for the Mass. I've felt it myself. When I prepare, it makes a big difference in how I experience the Mass. When I say prepare, I mean ways in which that you try to turn your mind to God, give you an opportunity to meet God before the Mass in preparation for it. This can be as simple as coming to Mass a little bit early to recite a prayer. It can be reading the scriptures before Mass. It can be showing up 15 minutes early just to sit in silence for a while. Or it could be playing video games for 2 hours. No, it can't. Don't do it. None of these are easy to do, especially if you have a family, but a great way to do it is to do it with your family at home before you come to Mass. I can give my brother as an example. He likes to gather his children around the table at breakfast time, and they read the gospel for the day. And they sing the Alleluia. It's a great way for them to prepare for their day. There are plenty of ways of doing this. You just got to find the one that works best for you. Right, Davis?
Yeah, dude!
Okay. So those are my 5 simple ways of getting more out of the Mass. Okay, so maybe there were only 4 ways. I don't know math. Who needs math? That's my challenge for you for next week. So send to me on Facebook or in the comments below the thing that works for you. What do you do to prepare for Mass? My second challenge to you is to try to incorporate at least one of these by this weekend. Don't have to do them all at the same time. I'm not asking you to sprint the marathon. Just take one of them, give it a try. It might not work the first time, but it's a growing process, as everything is in this life. But practice it, and I guarantee that it will help you experience the Mass more fully, more fruitfully, and you will be more fulfilled as a part of it. Man, that was a lot of F's. So in summary, you got to be realistic about your expectations. You got to give before you get. You got to learn more about the Mass, and you got to prepare a little bit beforehand. So that's all we got for you for this week. But just remember to come to the scavenger hunt on Sunday if you're between grades 8 and 12. I'm sure it's going to be a great time. Once again, don't take my word for it, just ask Davis.
It's going to be great!
So until next week, be holy, and I'll see you at Mass.
Well, hold us together, weather the storm.